This is the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Your inside look at everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's program, we will speak with the head football coach at Centerpoint High School, Coach George Bates, talking about a senior class that has made the state playoffs for 4 consecutive years after going 3-37 in the previous 4 years. Also, we will talk with the head football coaches at Homewood High School and Mountain Brook High School as they prepare for that big 6A battle coming up in Metro Birmingham here on WOTM Thursday night in the AHSAA Game of the Week. We'll speak with the head coach of the Homewood Patriots, Coach Ben Bergeson, and also the head coach of the Mountain Brook Spartans, Coach Chris Yeager. And as always, we'll have David Holtzford's highlights of volleyball and football action from all across the state of Alabama. All of that and more on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
We are back on the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. We are going to be joined now by the head football coach at Centerpoint High School, George Bates. Coach Bates, welcome in. Glad to have you with us again on the AHSAA Weekly.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, your football team last week, a region win in Class 5A Region 6, beating Hayden 47-6. You're 1 win away now from guaranteeing and clinching that your team will be in the Class 5A state playoffs, and that is significant for this Centerpoint program because if you do that, you will be the first team in this last couple of decades, since the turn of the century, with the senior class all 4 years, 4 consecutive years, your team will have made the football playoffs. That has got to be something great for your program there at Centerpoint.
Yeah, it's an amazing feat and something we don't take lightly. We've been telling the kids since Monday how important this is for our program, how elated to have those guys in our program that stuck around in a program that was really going down the wrong trail. And those guys stuck with us when we got the job back in 2018. And they're just setting a new standard.
You mentioned turning the program around. The previous 40 games to when you arrived in 2018, Centerpoint had gone 3-37. Now, 18, 19, 20, and looks like it's going to happen in 21, state playoffs in each of those years. What has been, you think, the key to the turnaround over these last 4 seasons?
I think we've been blessed with administration allow us to get a great staff in. And hire new guys when we need to. But the kids are buying in. And one of the biggest things is most of the kids in our community, I just say we don't have all of them, but about 90% of the kids in our community have stayed at Centerpoint. And that's a tremendous, thing. So we're a homegrown team and just excited for those guys sticking around. And now the sky's the limit for us. We're just starting, to be honest with you.
Heading into the region game with St. Clair County coming up, your career record is now 66-47, and you developed kind of a reputation there in the Metro Birmingham area of being a guy that comes in and rebuilds programs. It takes programs that are down and brings them back. And just your thoughts on that. What's kind of your scheme, your thoughts when you walk into a program like Centerpoint was when you were there, where they had been down for a few years? What's kind of the first things that you do as far as building that program back?
The first thing is we want to see and look at the program and see why they hadn't been winning. You don't know if it's the culture. You don't know if the numbers, the number of kids you have, the athleticism, the talent. You have to go in and kind of see exactly what's the reason why. And once you know the reason why, you go from there. And like I said, every situation different. Like I said, me and my staff, we've never taken over a program that had been successful years prior to taking over. So it's just a thing, like every program is different, and you try to give them, implement some things that they need to jolt it right then.
Tell us about this group of seniors, because when you came, they were in the 9th grade. And they made the playoffs your first year, and then they've made the playoffs every year. How important has this group that's now going to be seniors, there's your senior class this year, that when you took over, they were in the 9th grade. How important has this class been to this Centerpoint football program?
It's been huge because this group came in, like I said, it's special to us and and our staff because we came in together. And so every bad habit they have, if they have any, it's come from the new staff. But the main thing is those guys stuck together. Some guys, left and went other places, for whatever reason. We wish those guys luck, to this day. But those guys that stayed, man, it's just a testament to believing in Center Point High School and what it can be.
Well, Coach, you've done a remarkable job, you and all the staff and the young people there at Center Point, administration included in that, in turning this thing around and being a playoff team each and every year. It's been remarkable to watch. Best wishes to you and your football team throughout the rest of the season and potentially the state playoffs as we head into the home stretch of the season. Thank you for being with us here on the AHSAA Weekly.
Thank you. Wings up.
George Bates, head coach of the Center Point High School Eagles, our guest this week on the AHSAA Weekly.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
The AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union, rolls on. Time now to speak with both head football coaches of this week's AHSAA statewide Game of the Week here on WOTM, Chris Yeager of Mountain Brook High School and Ben Bergeson of the Homewood Patriots. But in region play, you're undefeated, so obviously you're battling right now for a region championship. Your team obviously playing very, very well again here in 2021.
Well, I think that we're getting better every week, and then, that's the key. When you start out and you're 0-0, everybody's excited about playing and practicing, and then as the game wears on, the journey continues. Sometimes you get bored with doing the same things over and over, but, champions don't. And so, you just try to get better 1% every day in everything that you do. And I feel like our team, we're trending upward, and we just need to keep doing that.
Coach, you mentioned improving week to week. Maybe who are some guys that early in the season you maybe didn't know about, hadn't proven themselves, but over the last month or so of the season have really stepped up and have provided some great play for your team?
Well, our defense, they've played unbelievable. John McMillan's been a big playmaker. Jones Beavers, Trent Wright. We've scored a lot of points on defense this year. And one of the things that's helped us do that is our kicking game. Reed Harradine, he's put us in a position where most offenses are starting deep in their territory. And then the defense, they've been very opportunistic. We've had, like I said, we scored several points off of defense, and then they've given us a short field a lot of the time. So, that's a pretty good combination to be successful on offense. John Collins' first year to start at quarterback, and, he's done a good job. He's gotten better every week. He's a very intelligent young man. He's plays on our basketball team. But, the thing that I've been pleased with him is his decision-making process and just his week-to-week growth.
Coach, this region has turned out to be ferocious, especially at the top with you and Homewood and Briarwood Christian. Just your thoughts on the strength of this region right now.
Well, there's a lot of great athletes in this region, and well-coached teams with a lot of history. And, to me, I think one of the biggest things that, that makes this region strong is just, knowing that week in and week out, you're going to get everybody's best. And, football is so important in the state of Alabama. Everybody puts so much of their resources into being good in football, whether it's, capital resources or it's time, energy. And football is so important to people in this area. They want to be good. And, and it shows. It shows in this region. It shows in all the regions around the metro.
I'm glad you said that. That was my next question, Coach. This metro Birmingham area, especially the over the mountain area, doesn't matter if it's 7A, 6A, 5A, whatever it is. You start really, if you go around 459, if you start up at Clay Chalkville and Trussville and you go all the way back down around McAdory and all those within probably 10 miles either side of 459, it's an unbelievable wealth of great football played right there in that corridor.
Yeah, if you like high school football and you're looking for a place to locate, you can see good high school football every week. You just named a great place to start. It's that 459 corridor. But we've played, two 7A teams this year outside of our region. We played 3, but we played 2 in the metro area. We played Vestavia and Thompson. And, they're great teams. It doesn't matter what classification it is, whether it's 5A, 6A, 7A in this area. They're great athletes. And, it's a hotbed for recruiting. It's a hotbed for high school football.
Coach, let's talk about one last thing with your team. Obviously, you're in the hunt for a region championship, playoffs looming. You got big goals and aspirations. What are you looking for as we move down the home stretch of this season out of your football team to be able to reach those goals?
Well, that's a great question, John. To me, you're looking for consistency, day in and day out consistency. It's like I said, when you start out, everybody has great energy when you start, but and you have improvement in leaps and bounds when you first start out this journey. And then as you do the same things over and over and over, where your improvement, it comes in smaller increments. And to me, teams and coaches and players that can get excited about small incremental daily improvements, those are the guys that are going to have a chance, not just to win region championships, but to win state championships. And, that there's a state champion, that's out there somewhere. And I guarantee the number one quality that you can name of that team when it's all said and done is that they got better every single day and they improved every day.
Mountain Brook, one of the top teams and programs in the state of Alabama. Coach Chris Yeager, thank you for spending time with us here on the AHSAA Weekly. Best wishes to you and your team the rest of this 2021 season.
Thank you, John.
Thursday night, October 14th, back at Waldrop Stadium. You got Mountain Brook coming in. 2 teams that are sitting there with only a loss apiece. You're undefeated in region play. This is a monster game that is going to be our AHSAA statewide game of the week right here on WOTM next Thursday. Tell us about where your football team is right now.
Well, we're playing really well right now, and we've had a really tough schedule, and it's really prepared us for now. We had Vestavia and Hillcrest right out the gate, and those were 2 really tough games. And we've won games in every way you could win this year, so we're ready for this part of the season.
Coach, as far as the region goes, of course, you've got 3 teams there at the top that are mighty good. Your football team, Mountain Brook and Briarwood Christian. We hear a lot about 7A Region 3, but your region is just as tough, top to bottom, especially there at the top, including your football team. Just kind of size up this region and the football that's being played there in the Metro Birmingham area, especially over the mountain.
It's just, it's a really tough region. Since Mountain Brook joined us, they had a monster season last year. And, Briarwood, there's a lot of history and tradition between us and Briarwood. It's a lot of fun to be in this region.
Coach, who are some of the guys that we can look forward to, folks watching Thursday night, October 14th from Waldrop Stadium? Who are some of the guys from Homewood that maybe folks around the state will need to be looking out for during that game?
Well, we're not afraid to put the ball in the air, and we've got a really good quarterback this year, and he's only a junior in Woods Ray, and we've got a great receiving crew, and we're just playing really well, and our offensive line's really gelling right now. We scored 49 points 2 weeks in a row now, so and our defense is playing well too. So we're just really gelling right now, playing well at the right time.
Coach, one thing, and you're well versed with this on multiple levels, but the tradition of a lot of these schools. Mountain Brook has a huge tradition, Briarwood does, and Homewood takes a backseat to no one as far as great high school tradition through the years. Specifically about Homewood High School, your just thoughts on the tradition through the years of Homewood Patriot football?
It's really cool to be part of this program. We have a great football culture, and that was all started with Coach Gann and Coach Newton, and I'm just trying to carry it on, but it's really cool just, to walk these halls and see the guys that have played here and the state championships that have been won here. It's just we have a great football culture.
And I assume the kids, they may not have known the Bob Newtons and the Gerald Ganns personally, but they're well versed, I would assume. I know you've done a great job in imparting that tradition to them. So the young men that are on your football team this year, they're well versed, I take it, in the past rich history of Homewood football.
They are, and they know it all comes down to hard work in the end. So, we don't. Most of our kids in Homewood, they grow up together and they play for each other and they love each other and they all grow up in the same neighborhoods around here. So it's kind of different than a lot of places. We don't have a lot of move-ins.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Coach Yeager at Mountain Brook, and we were talking about, you go about 10 miles either side of that I-459 corridor, maybe beginning at McAdoo and going up to Clay Chalk and Hewitt Trussville, and then 10 miles either side of that interstate in between. That's as good a football coach as you're going to find anywhere in the country, right there on that 459 corridor. Your team's a part of that.
It really is. There's just really well-coached football teams in the area. There's no gimmies at all. Everybody's well-coached, but just a hotbed of talent right here also.
Coach, we thank you so much for spending time with us. Looking forward to seeing your football team before a statewide audience here on WOTM in the AHSAA Game of the Week as you take on the Mountain Brook Spartans at your place coming up on Thursday, October 14th. I thank you for spending time with us here.
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun. Thank you for having me.
Ben Bergeson, the head coach of the Homewood Patriots, getting ready for that showdown with Mountain Brook Thursday, October 14th, the AHSAA Game of the Week here on WOTM.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AM First, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AM First.
And we return now to the AHSAA Weekly. Time for David Holtzford's highlights. David Holtzford of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, bringing you highlights from all across the state of Alabama through the NFHS network. We'll also have some highlights from right here on WOTM. We are going to begin, as we always seem to do, with volleyball action. And in volleyball, we will begin with Class 4A Haleyville, Class 2A Hatton, traditional powers, and a tri-match at Brooks High School. Haleyville beat Brooks and Hatton. They have a 6-2 record for the last week. Audrey Sibley was among the leaders with 13 service aces and 59 kills, 61 digs, and setter Savannah Fralix added 41 digs and 167 assists. Haleyville opened play in the Class 4A Area 12 tournament at Fayette County, which got underway earlier this afternoon. And we're going to stay with volleyball action with McGill-Toolen Catholic High School. The Dirty Dozen taking on Thompson last week in a big 7A match. McGill was led by Anna Gray Sparks, shown here with one of her 69 kill shots from last week. She also had 10 blocks. Riley Carter also strong on the net. She had 54 kills and 18 blocks, while setter Mamie Fromdahl had 174 assists last week, and defensive specialist Alexia Cole displaying her talents. Cole had 125 digs for the week for the McGill-Toolen Catholic. You see them celebrating there with a win over Thompson. We now move to football. A pair of Bulldogs, Dora and Asheville, last week at Asheville. We jump to third quarter action in this one as we'll see the top dog, Dora quarterback Garrett Hoglund, rolling out to find senior wide receiver Mason Stewart open for the touchdown. And then we've got Jamarcus Goodman giving the visitors a 14-0 lead. Brennan Davis adds to the lead for Dora with a sweep coming up around the corner and then tight roping into the end zone as Dora pulls this Class 4A Region 6 win out 21-0, extending their winning streak to 3 games and upping the record to 5-2 on the year at Ken Logan Stadium in Asheville. Central Phoenix City and Prattville facing each other. This is Caleb Nix, a junior and the younger brother of current Auburn quarterback Bo Nix. He fired 5 touchdown passes to seal the 42-21 win. Right here connecting with Dylan Gentry for a long catch and run to start the game. And then he'll follow up on the next Red Devil possession with a TD pass to Jamal Johnson. Central led at halftime 28-14 and never looked back, improving to 8-0 on the year. Central Phoenix City with the win over Prattville down at Garrett Stadium. And we continue with football action now. We're going to pitch it to some of our NFHS crews around the state of Alabama. Coming up next, we've got Hewitt Trussville and Vestavia Hills. Here's the action.
Quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Huskies going tempo. Hammonds again. He's got a first down and more. He cuts around the 20, 25, 30. He's down the sideline. He could go to the 40, 30. Hammonds to the house. Touchdown. Towns going deep. Huskies in coverage.
5 on the ground. Guess what? The other 4 came via penalties.
And we're underway for the second half. Kickoff brought to you by KeithBiceLoans.com. Cole Turner. And he could be gone.
Look out.
See if the Huskies could bring him down, and Turner is going to take it to the house. And just like Towns, one-on-one, pylon, up, touch.
We're missing an offensive lineman. Excuse me.
Down the sideline. Can he take it to the house? That is Omari Kelly. Cole Turner at the bottom of your screen. This time, little pressure down the middle of the field, and he was wide open. And he's loose. Touch. Under centers, Peyton Floyd. Will play action. Floyd, end zone, route. First and 10 from the 19. Play action. And it's intercepted. The Huskies have it. They're going to take it to the house. Touchdown from the 43. Towns back to pass. He steps up the pocket. He's going to be brought down. He's sacked. Now they say the ball's loose. The Huskies have it. Down the sideline. He could go. 10, 5. Touchdown, Husky.
And we also take you over to East Alabama. Big battle between Opelika and Robert E. Lee of Montgomery. Van Riggs on the play-by-play, being joined by the color commentator, former Lee and Opelika head football coach, Spence McCracken.
Front. Dillahay back in the game. He goes in motion to the right, and quarterback Williams rolls right, throws on the run, picked off by the Dogs inside the 25 and
Brenton Williams.
First and 10 at the Lee 18. Gagliano drops back, throws towards the end zone. Connor's got it.
Good job right here holding them back.
Damon Ross is in the game. Play action. Williams throws left. He's got a wide open man inside the 5. Connor in tight on the line of scrimmage to the left. Gagliano, play action, wants to throw, floats to his right, throws deep downfield. Got Jones at the 5. It's caught down. Cat. 3 wideouts to the right. Cooper gets the snap, faked it right, runs it left. Touchdown, Bulldog! Gagliano out of the gun. Cooper in the backfield. Gagliano wants to throw, rolls to the right. Now throws back, got man wide open. It's Powell. Period. Jaquel Williams will line up under center, just going to try to push it ahead, and trips to the left, single receiver right. Williams going to drop back, looks to the left, just going to have to throw it up towards the end zone's got a wide open man, but it's knocked away. What a play by the Dogs. That was Jarrell Stinson, the game.
And we have more great highlights from across the state of Alabama. Next up, Beauregard and Sylacauga playing at Legion Stadium in Sylacauga. Here's Jimmy Dale and Zach Abrams.
We begin in the first half with Malik Pope, and there he goes. Zach?
He was gone when he hit that first step. You cannot catch Malik when he gets past 10 yards. He is gone.
He had a lot of those runs in the first half. Beauregard actually tied the game right here at 7-all, but it didn't last very long because Sylacauga comes right back and to retake the lead. There is a big guy right there, Hughes, and he's a load. Here's Pope again. 65 yards. He hits another gear and no way to catch him. Sylacauga increasing their lead. Pope with 4 touchdowns on the night. Here's another one.
Wow.
I would say he's swift of foot, wouldn't you?
Amazing speed.
Sylacauga 42, Beauregard 14. It was the Malik Pope. Here he goes again, straight down the field. Another long touchdown run for Malik. The Aggies beat Beauregard by a score of 42-14. And here's the Beauregard touchdown late in the game. And 35-14 there. And Sylacauga with yet another touchdown right here as the Aggies win it.
And finally, wrapping up the highlights this week, we take you to last week's AHSAA statewide game of the week here on WOTM. That was an exciting game between Viger and Faith Academy. Here's Mickey Shadricks and Gerhard Mathangani with the highlights.
Gerhard, this was not a region game, but it felt like a playoff game in this one tonight.
Most certainly between these two squads, not that very far from one another, but chasing different championships. One a 4A title, one a 5A title. It looks like Viger's right there in the mix for that state championship that Coach talked about, wanting to be a part of the mix. Here you see Jermaine Coleman really getting the Viger offense off and rolling. Ends up leading to this touchdown by Benjamin Bennett. 15-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion here by Michael Towner's good. An early 8-0 lead for Viger. Into the second quarter, a nice play here from Colton Wood to Dorian Smith to be able to get the Rams on the board 18-6. And a nice run here by Mix to keep the chains rolling. They end up getting the 4th down conversion to keep the drive alive. Tough running all game long is what we saw from the Wolves. And it ends up being Ja'Cory Barnes who punches it in for 6 after another tough run there by Mix. 6-yard touchdown run here makes it 15-6 after the extra point. That was our score going into halftime. Meanwhile, in the second half, Faith Academy got really rolling offensively. Colton Wood to Tiny Goodwill. Goodwill on the wide receiver screen really helps break open that offense, and then Wood gets the second half points on the board for the Rams with a touchdown run there. But when the Wolves needed an answer, they got it. They continue to get it through their running game, more so with Mix. And Mickey, you called him an X factor, and he certainly was so. The Rams defense really did show up at certain spots. However, they weren't able to get into the end zone there in that third quarter. Then in the fourth, the pressure just kept coming and kept coming. But the Rams offense continued to make plays down the stretch. And then Coleman with this nice run here, being able to help spring that offense a little bit more forward. And then the big play right here on 3rd down to keep those chains moving, really a backbreaker. And then Mix used his feet all game long here, stays in bounds on the big 3rd down run. Then they get into the end zone with Jermaine Coleman, an 11-yard touchdown run, made it 21-12. Then the onside kick here by Viger, really bold play, heads up awareness play. The punt block here by the Rams really set them up in great field position. And they would take advantage when they get the ball down there. An 11-yard touchdown strike from Wood to Tiny and Goodwill. That cut it to a 2-point game at 21-19. Last chance here, no good for the Rams.
Coach, final question. Speaking of that, obviously that's your goal. You're 7-0. You've been very impressive so far this year. I know you're taking it one game at a time. Speak, if you will, just overall about the pride of this Viger football program. So much tradition. I know you've got to be happy to be at the helm and seeing the success your young men have had so far this season.
Right, and I realized that when I got there, Viger reminded me of my high school at Miami Central, with the tradition and the legacy. And when I noticed the guys that was on the wall there, I didn't realize a lot of them guys played here at a little old place called Pritchett, Alabama. But it's a talented team. And like I said, we set our goals in the beginning of the year. We wanted to beat our rival Blunt. We wanted to make sure we play on December 3rd and win it on December 3rd. We talked about winning 5 in a row. We started off the season and won 5 in a row because we know at the end of the year we got to win 5 in a row. So our goals and our vision is still intact. And I talk to our guys all the time, about focus. And I tell them, our focus may not create an undefeated season, but it shouldn't hurt us in a championship season. So that's what we really geared up towards, trying to prepare for that. And every day we come to work, we try to prepare for playing on December 3rd.
21-19 to remain unbeaten on the season at 7-0.
And that is going to wrap up this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. We'll see you back here next week.